Jazakumullah khairan, Prof, for the
Fire.
efforts. May Allah reward you.
I mean,
Yeah, I will actually appreciate if you can shed more light on how we can overcome the challenges of bias and fairness. Because take for instance, we want to use an existing data, and I think we are going to be limited with what is available with the data set provided, the existing one. If it is biased, that is what we have been forced, we limited to work with. And also, if you want to actually generate our own data, probably collecting data using Google Form, something of such, we didn't have power over the respondents. Take for instance, we are collecting a data probably unbounded tree or something of such around let's say northwest, and probably a state is disproportionately disadvantaged with respect to the responses. Probably the response we are getting from Zamfara, which happened to be the outbed of armed banditry, probably people were not too responding. We didn't get much response from there. And at the end of the day, we collated the response that we get through the form. We are going to be limited with the data that is available. And that will have actually portrayed biasness and unfairness. Then how do we actually overcome this? That is my question, Prof.
okay, thank you very much, Doctor, for the very nice question. You see, everything is in stages, you know? Everything is in stages. When we spoke about the bias issue in data, it cut across application everywhere. See, the popular ChatGPT, all this Gen AI that is out there, they also be affected by where they got the data they are using. If you have some question about some country, it will be negative. It's not because that country is negative because the data is not representative from their side. It's not a problem we can solve at a go. However, for those that are just starting, what our advice is, start from a place. Your first team may not be representative. That is fine. That is fine. We can't get to having a non-biased system right from day one. No. There are a lot of work that are going on that's still in there to be done. The intention matters. Yes. In as much as you intended that, oh, okay, I'm having this kind of understanding. I just gave us a simple example to clarify for us that, look, when you are trying to get data, we want the data to be representative. It's very simple. But sometimes it's beyond your control. I knew what you passed through when you were building the data you are working on presently. You have to send it out to people. People you really targeted at this area, we don't have much data there. How can you get more data from them? They are not responding. What can we do about them? These are real challenges that then, so when we try as much as possible, bearing in mind, some people do it deliberately. This is the one that is unethical. Very bad. There is data set from all the tribes. Deliberately, they remove the positive data from, the positive attribute for a tribe. They remove it. There's tribe A, the one building the model, all the tribe A people that are non-violent, non-criminal, they remove it. They make sure that majority of violent, criminal data is the one they have about that tribe. Because they want all the tribe now to be identified like criminal. This is deliberate, and that is very bad. And if found, this is what we call government law. There should be law that will be able to prosecute this kind of people. Because that was deliberate. But for someone who is trying genuinely to get the non-biased data, but is not able to get what he's getting. For example, my student went on the field not long ago to get data set for diabetes patient, another one for hypertension, I think another one for chronic kidney disease. In one of them, they got upload like 80 data sets. No single positive. All of them negative, negative, negative. Of course, it's a normal society. We don't want many people to be sick. But people that are sick, that we want to really build the model to be able to identify sick people, they are not responding. They struggle to get the data they couldn't. This is even, they are not even streamlining to a particular tribe or whatever. No, a general one. Sometimes people don't respond. So this is to tell you how difficult it could be to get data set. However, with the right mindset that we will not do illegality, I always say, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for the good people to do nothing. The one who deliberately distort data just to paint one tribe in black, that is the one that is very bad, unethical, irresponsible in the utilization of AI. But if you make all your effort, but the data you can have, one way or the other, is biased, it's one of the limitations you're going to write in your report. Although this thing is working, however, we notice that all the data set is from, tell us the limitation of your work. That is part of research work. People will take it from where you stop. They will be aware of your limitation, where the data came from, and then they'll be able to hopefully take care of it in future. And even in your future work, you can also try to say, okay, how can I make sure my data is not from only these people? I want it from other side. But sometimes, no matter what you do, because it is not within your control. They say we only work on what we can control. We take care of ourselves. At least we think we can change. Like when somebody complains about people, I say, look, you can only change yourself. You can't change people. Advise them. But make sure from your own side, you do what is right. Because sometimes what we are seeing in people that is not good, it may be because we are looking at it from the wrong side of the mirror. Like this particular case of someone who was always looking at the cloth of his neighbor spread outside, just behind his own window. He always complained, why is this person, his clothes is not always clean? After washing clothes, he's always looking dirty. Can't he wash very well? He has been complaining for long until a family member now came and said, sir, it is our window that is dirty. That guy's clothes is okay. They now decide to clean their own window. It was then they realized that guy's clothes that he always complained that is not clean is clean. It is his own window that was so dirty that by the time he looked through it, everything outside looks dirty. This is a scenario that can happen in real life. You see? So we only work on our own as machine learning model developer or machine learning engineer, whatever we are, or researcher. We make sure we try our best to make sure that we do the right thing from our side. But for the other people to respond to our data, we don't have control over them. In subsequent one, we can try to think of how can we motivate them to respond to this questionnaire, because it is about them. We want everybody to be well represented accordingly. So in short, to your question, it's not a problem you can solve at a go. It's a problem where we've identified, and a lot of work are going on to see how can we minimize it. We start from minimization, while we try to prevent people from deliberately doing it. Those are the ones that are really, really the big problem. Deliberately, they exclude some tribe from their data because they want that tribe to be seen as criminal. These are deliberate issues. So for the people who are good-minded, the right-thinking people, this is why we always invite them to participate in this AI. It's a very powerful technology. If it gets its way to the wrong hand, the world will pay for it heavily. So thank you very much. So number 2, Mr. Nuruddin, am I right? The second person who raised up hand. Engineer Muideen, you have the floor. Okay. Seems Engineer Muideen is not there. Omiyeniyi, you have the floor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. And I'm Engineer Myeni Mukhtar. Sir, generating data, sir, what are the very important details to capture in the data set you are generating for crime prediction ops or hotspot for creating crime hotspot? What are the very important details we should capture when we are generating data for crime hotspot, sir?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Omiyeni, for that nice question. So it means you have followed the talk clearly. Yeah, it's one of the very interesting area that if you want to have a resilient city where crime is prevented rather than running after criminals, that would be a wonderful one. That you build it, like I always say, when you build model, it could be built around individual. You can build machine learning model around an individual. You can also build it around neighborhood. See, neighborhood, which is the example you just mentioned. So if you build it around neighborhood, see, we can build model around individuals. You can also build it around neighborhood. You can build it around family. You want to predict the next family in the street who will be identified as this or as that, or an individual in the street that will be this or that. But this one now, you're talking of a whole neighborhood. Just like when you want to predict, for individual example, it's like I want to know if that person is suffering from diabetes or not. I have to look for characteristics that can define who is diabetes or not. That's what you do. You look at what are the characteristics that can define an individual. Get as many as possible. What is his weight? His weight. His age. What of family history? Maybe his mother or father suffered from diabetes before. See? There are other things you can ask. How many hours does he sit down on a day? How many sitting posture in a day? How many activities, how many exercises he does in a week? Any question you can ask about that is about individual. Now, when you are now looking for hotspots, you want to identify the hotspot in the city where there's going to be possible crime. Then look, what are the characteristics of neighborhood? So you now look at the characteristics of neighborhood, the location of that neighborhood. Who are they sharing border with? Who is bordering them? A state, for example, a state that borders several other states. There are some states, they only border another state. There's a state here. Only one state, you border one state. While there's another state that borders like almost 8 states. A state with many number of neighbors, most likely maybe a potential, because if criminal does not escape from this state to that state, they will may escape from another state. Then the nature of the border, the nature of the street. Is it a gated street or not? Do they have local security or vigilante? Because a street that is having, this is one of the areas that the world need to invest in. I used to say, yes, there are a lot of things we can do to prevent diseases, but there are some things we can do to actually prevent it more. For instance, see, there are some diseases that you have, up to now, you have open defecation, many cities in the world. Openly, people go outside to ease themselves. Can't we have compulsorily every few streets away, you have free public toilets where people can go to ease themselves? Either they pay little or it is free and be funded by maybe World Health Organization or whatever body, so that people will not defecate openly. This can go a long way to prevent a lot of diseases that we are actually going for. Either vaccination is good, yeah, but do we prevent rather than trying to cure the disease? Similar to your question on neighborhood criminal watch, hotspot. See, if you have a city that has security, the fact that you are aware that there is always security in that street, you see that criminal will not come near. Most of our cities are devoid of presence of security agents. There was a country I happened to be. You see, just drive in any street. In those streets, you have one way. You have one-way drive, many streets. You will know by the way the cars are parked in that street that this is one way. You can't drive opposite it. You see, but you know, human being, you are in a hurry, you are going to the next street. Instead of going down to make a turn, you quickly want to drive to the one way you are supposed to go like this here. But you quickly want to make a shortcut here to go. People does it. Someone told me the moment he did, just before he entered the street, a policeman was coming right there at the parking, and they gave him ticket. Since that time, that friend told me he never attempted to break any single rule because he's aware that even the moment he branched to that road wrongfully, before he ended that trip, a policeman may be there. As you are driving, you see policeman behind you. You see them in front of you. It means you are aware that, hey, this guy is everywhere. See, so if you have a neighborhood that has presence of security, men, either vigilante, whatever you call them, they are likely going to be lesser hotspot for criminal activity. So these are some of the characteristics you now gather and then use to build your model. Okay, what is do you have any security here? No. Do you have this with it? Gather as many characteristics. It's gated or not gated. Where is the location? What is its border? What is the history of that street? Historically, have they suffered from criminal activity or whatever hotspots we are modeling? See, so you get all those activities. Another thing you can also do is you can also check out that work you are doing. Maybe someone already did it. Go online and check. See what are the characteristics they use in modeling what they did. Some of it might not be relevant to your own street or your own country, but you can still take few of them. Gather as many as possible when you are gathering these attributes, because you are not sure which one will work more. That's what we call feature selection. Later, you are going to do feature selection. During the feature selection, this is when you are going to determine which of these characteristics we have identified are really very important to our work. Out of 15 you have identified, you may end up having like 3. Like somebody who built a machine learning model to diagnose disease with 15 questions. I say 15 is much. Can you do feature selection to reduce to like 5 or 3? And they were able to reduce to like 5, and they're still getting the same accuracy that 15 was getting. That is excellent. So later you can do those ones, but at the beginning, don't throw away any opportunity. Always welcome as many attributes as possible. Check out online people who have worked in this area. What are the attributes they use? In addition to the one you have thought about, bring them together, get your data, and continue with the analysis. So hotspot may be about accident hotspot. It's going to be much accident in that neighborhood. If we predict there will be accident in that neighborhood, then we can send text message to the traffic police to mount roadblock so that people will not be speeding too much in that area. So all the characteristics that can determine those challenges, we come up with them, and then you can build your model as the case may be. I hope that clarifies. So, salam. That's Engineer Muideen. Yeah, we call you, but since you are not there, okay, you can go ahead with your question. We have very few minutes more. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. My first question is about the context of supply chain during disaster management. Why the second section is, can we have a practical practical class, or the short is just a short session on how to do features features importance on Wikasa. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Okay, noted. Well noted. So our coordinator should help us note it down. So how to do feature importance in Wika. So we're definitely going to look into that. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, it's very, very important. So when you do feature selection, feature importance, you can go a long way because getting more features is difficult. So if you can reduce the number of features, imagine asking somebody to answer your questionnaire and you have like 15 questions. You say, this is too much. But you have to answer only 3 questions or 5. People will respond to your questionnaire faster. So we're definitely going to look into that. Though you can check out some of our videos on how to do feature selection, how to do it. We have several videos on that. But as for how to demonstrate it in Wika, we did it in the past, but we take note of it, that we have the opportunity to do that for us. Thank you very much on that. I believe that's what we have. There's another name we have seen, Yakubu Tunde Uyebo. Am I correct with that name, pronunciation? Yakub Tunde Uyebo. That will be Mr. Doctor or Professor. You have the floor if you are there.
Assalamu alaikum, Prof.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Yakub Tunde Uyebo. You are right with the pronunciation.
Thank you.
We got platform through reference. So I'm happy from the little lecture I've listened to. But let me quickly say that I'm completely new in area of machine learning, AI, and stuff. So my questions might be naive, but I have the background of mathematics. I study mathematics. So, like when you are trying to explain, when you are trying to in your lectures today, when you were trying to come up with the explainable AI,
yeah.
You did mention of ensemble of AI tools.
Yeah.
That sometimes it may be difficult in this scenario to explain how AI was able to actually dispatch the solution to that problem, or got its own solution to that problem. But I was thinking, I want to ask naively that since the AI tools that were ensembled to actually solve that problem are already explainable, if you put many explainable AI tools that are able together to solve a particular problem, I think the part from all those AIs are coming from, since they are explainable, if they work together, the result that is should also be explainable. I'm just talking from the point of ordinary algebra. So I want to see with that, I want to believe that even though in ensemble of AI to solve a particular problem, it can also be explained. So how that will be done, I don't know, because I'm not an expert there. Then let me so quickly say this. Like I said, I'm new in area of AI and machine learning, and I want to actually move in a particular direction that maybe that will be done probably if I have a private chat with you, maybe later. I want to actually go into a particular area. Somebody has introduced me to this explaining, maybe when I explain it, actually pay attention. Now I want to actually move in a path, and I want to actually seek your expert advice on how I should navigate to actually choose a particular area vis-a-vis the background I'm coming from. And that is my question, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Yakubu Tunde Oyebo. If I get you right, you are from mathematics, you have mathematics background. And I appreciate that, yeah, from the algebraic point of view. Yeah, if you add what is explainable to themselves, they should then be explainable. I like that idea. However, it depends on how you build the ensemble. We love to have that explainability preserved. But at a point in time, especially one type of ensemble that is ravaging now, that is getting better results for people, we call it stacking. Stacking, whereby if what you are going to use as input to the final model was not input before, was not an input, it's going to be an output of one being used as input to another one. It totally distorted the whole system. So, and even in modeling, when you have model like decision tree, yeah, it's explainable easily. So there are others that are not very much explainable, that support vector machine. It has statistical learning theory as basis. I try to avoid it for people. If the client is interested in explainability, we avoid it. Decision tree do that for us. And also the k-nearest neighbor, a very, very common method we usually use to demonstrate for us. Show me your friend, I'll tell you the kind of person you are. It's always easy to explain them. Then there's other explainable AI that after you have done it, even though it's not explainable, it tries to tell you what are the contributing factors that is doing this. Yes, we can always try to make it explainable. However, in ensemble, which is now being established, and one of the best way to ensure that you get better results. Some of the competitions in Google, in Kaggle, and other competition platforms, you see the winning teams are always using multiple ensemble. Sometimes it's ensemble inside ensemble. When you have ensemble inside ensemble, you have a team who have ensemble of 150 model, another one, another ensemble of another 150 model. All the output we put in another inside another ensemble. Ensembling get to a level that explainability will definitely disappear. So yeah, but I like the idea. Since you are mathematics, that's a good one. Let's talk in private and see where you are interested and see how you can push it forward. Some of the top guys in AI, people that are pushing, they are from mathematics, by the way. So you have very strong control of mathematics. You can make a lot of impact, a lot of contribution in AI modeling, especially on the algorithms, convergence of algorithm. How can we make the algorithm to avoid lower stocking at the lower lower